Hey there, my friends, and welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast. This is episode number 64, and I'm so happy you're here today. We are at the end of Q2, my friends. Yay, we made it through halfway through the year, and I hope that your first part of the year has been amazing for you, and I hope you're gearing up for an amazing rest of the year. I'm so glad that you have me along here, letting me be part of your journey for your creative shop building and building your business. I don't take that honor lightly, so thank you for being here. I do want to remind you, if you are looking to do a mid-year review, which I highly recommend, we are working actually through that right now inside my Retailers Inner Circle, but I have posted a podcast. Episode number 59 has a mid-year review for you. If you haven't done it yet, highly encourage you to check in on yourself and see where you are right now, where things are with your business, where you want to go with the rest of the year. Anyway, go listen to 59. You'll see what I'm talking about. Today on the podcast, I am going to give you 3 literally never fail tips on how you can use other people's success to fuel you. That sounds like a mouthful, but what I'm seeing right now with a lot of retailers is when they see other people's success, and quite often that's the front stage, my friends, it can either motivate us or derail us. Also, inside communities, when you have a little bit tighter community, for example, inside my Retailers Inner Circle, we share wins every Friday. And there's a lot of reasons why we should share our wins. They inspire other people. They make us realize and celebrate and acknowledge our own wins. But it sounds hooky, but I'm not kidding. It is really, really important for us to celebrate our wins, but it's also important to be inspired by other people's wins. I'm going to share today how you can look at other people's success and what they're doing and how they're doing it. And really, like I said, pull apart all the strategies that they're using to fuel you. And I'm going to give you some no-fail tips. I promise this is like gold. This is a good one. I promise. Listen to this one today because we don't want you to get derailed. We want you to get inspired and use the communities that you're in and use the people that you're surrounding yourself with and take all the gold nuggets that you can. And I'm going to give you the strategy to do that today. So grab a coffee. Let's go. Running a retail business doesn't have to be so hard. Welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, the go-to podcast for creative shop owners, studio owners, and independent retailers. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, retail business coach and mentor. Each week, I'll share simple, proven business strategies, inspiring stories from fellow retailers, and advice from industry experts. Together, we're going to work to find the success you want from your retail business with more profits in your till and a little more joy in your life. Okay, seeing other people's success. There's 2 things that happen, right? There's 2 things that can happen. We can be super happy for them, for other people. We know we should be, but this is how, we should be happy and we can learn from them and we can move forward and we can be encouraged and inspired by, or sometimes, also depending on where we are, we can feel discouraged or like we're not good enough or, totally, let down maybe in ourselves. Normally that happens if we're not where we want to be. Right? If we're not where we want to be and we see other people being where we want to be, doing what we want to do, it's discouraging that they're there. We're, maybe outwardly, oh, happy, yay for you. But so what I see happen, and I want you to really listen to this episode today because this happens to me all the time. I have the pleasure of being in mastermind groups that I'm in, and I join those groups to learn from people. I like to surround myself with people doing what I want to do, and I align myself with like-minded people doing amazing things. I mean, that is what I align myself with in my groups. And that is what my retailers do inside the inner circle. I'm hoping that they feel aligned with other retailers doing what they want to do and be getting inspired by one another. But the reality is, as we see other people's success, and again, as I shared at the top of the podcast, we share our wins every week inside the inner circle. And I have always have retailers say to me, well, Susie's doing so much better than me. Or, when we're meeting one-on-one quietly or something, behind the scenes kind of thing. Or the opposite happens. I don't want to share my wins because I don't want to sound braggy. I don't want to share my wins because people will just think I don't want to make people feel bad. I feel bad when people share their wins because I'm not where they are. We have two ways of looking at that. We need to be sharing our wins so that we can inspire other people. And the reason we join communities and the reason, for the literal reason for creating the Retailer's Inner Circle is to help one another leapfrog and I always say compress decades into days by learning from people around you. And that's why we join communities. And that's why, again, I created the Retailer's Inner Circle, is to have a group of people that can support and inspire one another. So I want to give you some tips on what you can do when you start feeling a little discouraged, maybe, and not so celebratory. I don't know what the word is, but anyway, not so excited about other people's wins, and learn how to be really happy for them and what you can learn and pull out and how to pull out the right information. So this is going to help you whether you're in my Retailer's Inner Circle or not. If you're in a community of people or you see other people doing things and other people's success, I want you to go through these 3 steps that I'm going to share today and just pull out the good stuff. Flip the script. Flip the script of the negative way you feel about it and take inspired action. It's something I say that a lot, I know, but take inspired action from what you are learning. So I have retailers, for example, some wins lately that have been inside my Retailer's Inner Circle that I have heard, maybe others say like, oh, I can never do that. Or even they sometimes post that they're like, I don't understand, I feel happy for you, but that'll never happen for me. Retailers, finally getting to the point where they're paying themselves, or maybe they're reaching some audacious goals that they've set for like their sales goals or their profit goals, or maybe they've, increased their average order value and they're celebrating and they're posting that on the wins post. Maybe they've just been featured inside an amazing magazine or on TV, or, there's been a lot of those kinds of wins just in the last couple of weeks. So I want other people to be inspired by that, not to say, oh, that'll never happen. Oh, lucky them. That'll never happen to me, right? And again, the purpose of us surrounding ourselves with people doing amazing things, again, whether you're in the Retailer's Inner Circle or in the groups that you're in or where you are, or if you just see other people's success, it's really important that we take the nuggets from that, take the good stuff and really use it. And wow, it's really powerful when we do that, right? And again, I'm going to say it again, the reason we join communities and the reason we surround ourselves with people doing what we want to do is so we can simplify the process for ourselves, not copying or whatever, but getting inspired and learning how. And again, compressing decades into days. That's my big thing for when I join groups. I just really want to surround myself with people doing things that I want to do, and why we're not meant to do it alone. So let's get inspired by other people and take the golden nuggets. So first of all, you have to flip the script. That's the first step. Flip the script on how you're feeling. Enough of that self-doubt, enough of that self-talk. I don't want to, that's not serving you. It's not serving you at all. Negative thoughts, negative energy, it's just a waste of time. So stop it. It's my official advice. Just stop that. When you catch yourself going down that road, if you do, when you catch yourself going down the road, you're going to hear my voice in your head now. Lucky you. Just stop it. And what can I do to flip that script? That's what you have to just say to yourself. Let's be honest. We all have that happen. I have it happen a lot. And as most of you know, I'm a super positive person on the Strength Finder scores. Number 1 is positivity, and number 2 is big picture planning and strategic planning. So I'm a positive person, but we all have those days where we think everybody else in our community is doing, all the good things. And here I'm sitting. So, I'm just not good enough, or all those things that go through our head. Everyone else, blah, 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 right? Other people, blah, blah, blah. Oh, lucky them. Those thoughts go through everybody's head. That's just being human. So here's what we're going to do instead. And here's what I do. And it works for me. It's worked for me for years. I give myself the whole pity party moment and I flip the script and I say to myself, okay, what can we do to learn from other people's success? So one of the things, the very first thing is I look at what they're doing and I focus on the few things that matter. I'm going to say it again. I look at what they're doing, or what they just said, okay, they just got a paycheck, or they just brought in new foot traffic, or they just got on the news, or whatever that thing is that, lucky them, I wish I could do that. And I'm not there yet. All of those things. And I break it down. So break down what you see somebody else doing. It's the few things that matter. What are they doing? That's like the 20%. That's the needle mover. So, it doesn't matter if they have the pretty website and, because we have a tendency to maybe look at somebody else's success and it's like, we look at the big whole, everything they're doing. Oh my gosh, they're doing everything. I can't do all that. I don't want to do all that. And it is important for us to remember, first of all, that we need to not change direction. This is really important. We need to remember, to not look at somebody else's success in a particular area if it doesn't align with our goals or our vision. So first of all, that's the first part, I guess. Make sure that you're not shifting direction. But if they're doing something that would help you get to where you want to be in your goals, especially going forward into Q3 and Q4 here now, let's take 20%, the 20% or the one thing that they're doing that is the needle mover. Let's identify that. So I sit down and I look and I say, okay, what is the thing that they're doing that's getting them the paycheck, or getting them the foot traffic, or got them on TV, or whatever that thing is that I want to really feel the success on my part. So what is that one thing? There's usually something there. There's usually, something that's just like a small chunk of what they're doing. And then I ask myself, is that doable for me? Right. So for example, how are they getting all these Facebook, or all these people coming in? Well, they're doing Facebook Live sales every week consistently. And this is actually something that happened recently, and an example that I did use with one of my coaching clients. And, she said, well, so-and-so, I'm like, well, she's consistently doing Facebook Lives every Tuesday and Friday and blah, 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 whatever that person was doing. And the process was, that's what's moving the needle for her. That's what's giving this particular success that we were looking at. And she said, I can do that. I could do that too. And I'm like, you can do that too. Right. So it's, something that's doable for you that maybe you haven't been doing before. And again, this is to be inspired by people that you're in communities with, and that that you're, in a group with, or, get inspired by them. And it's okay to ask them questions too. I mean, I say that because inside, again, my inner circle, if somebody puts a win, everybody's, cheering them on. And it's like, I've seen lots of people say, wow, that's amazing. How did you get blah, blah, blah? Or what did you do? Or what was the process? Or, people will share. People are kind. And that's why we're in groups together, right? So that's what a community is all about. So instead of going negative and saying, oh, lucky her, blah, 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 but what is that 20% that they're doing that's a needle mover? What is that thing? Like, oh, I could do that. And what's doable for me is what I say, ask myself. The second question I ask myself, is can I apply that easily right now? Is this something that I can just add to what I'm doing? Like, what is it a layer of something that I can add and I can do right now? Because maybe it's not. Maybe it's not possible for you right now. So then it's okay, but we'll just move on, right? So we'll get inspired by other people. But really, we look at what they're doing, pull out a piece, a chunk that they're doing that you can kind of tell what a needle mover is, right? You can tell when somebody's doing something. And can I apply that easily right now? Yeah, I can. And then the next question I ask myself is, how can I keep this super simple? How can I take that needle mover? How can I apply it right now and add it to whatever it is I'm doing? And then how can I make it simple for me? An example from a retailer recently, she said, she was kind of jealous. She was running down that road of discouragement because of somebody else's success with email marketing. And I said, well, what are you doing for email marketing? And she said, well, nothing. She's like, hasn't really been growing her. I can't grow my list. And, and so we kind of, which is funny, right? Like, it's like, it's hard to be jealous from somebody else. And then that you could do it, but you didn't. But anyway, we decided, we looked at the email marketing. I said, well, what's one thing that she's doing or this other retailer's doing? Well, it's email. It's email. This retailer is, consistently getting email, making sales from every email and getting foot traffic in every week, and talking about that and sharing that awesome win inside the inner circle. And I said, well, that's amazing for her, right? And she's like, it's amazing. And I'm like, okay, what is it? So 20% was the email. Okay. What can you apply right now? What is the step that you can take? What is something you can do right now? Well, I could start sending out a weekly email. And, it sounds really basic, but she was like, okay, I need to add that to my schedule and I need to make that happen. And then the next question was, how can we make that simple for you? And she said, well, I'm going to create a template on my MailChimp account and I'm going to just, do a really simple invite to the shop, sharing my shop tour every week. That's what she did. And, super simple steps. And guess what? It works, but that was what was working, how she could apply it to her own schedule, and how she could keep it super simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. So big, beautiful things are happening in retail, and there's lots of retailers around you doing amazing things. And being part of an amazing community or being part of just paying attention to what other people are doing, it's so inspiring. It's so, I don't know, it's just so encouraging. And we're not meant to come up with all the ideas ourselves. We're not it's not possible. I mean, it's not possible for us to think outside of our own box all the time, right? We can run our own race. We can do our own thing, but it's important to look at what other people are doing that are doing what you want, are succeeding at what you want to do. And instead, again, and again, when you see other retailers' success, instead of getting discouraged by it, get motivated by it with these simple steps. So again, the three things are just break it down to the 20%. Ask yourself how you can easily apply it to yourself, to your business right now. And how can you make it super simple for yourself? That's the question. Those three things, if you take those three nuggets from this podcast today and you apply that to when you see other people's success, you're going to see the wheels turning. You're going to see some needle moving things happening in your business that maybe you hadn't thought about. This is really stepping into your CEO hat, right? This takes us getting out of our woe-is-me moment and putting the CEO hat on and saying, how can we use this and be inspired by it? And then how can we share our wins with other people? That's the next step. I really want you to share your wins with people because it helps inspire other people. Please keep sharing and getting inspired with one another. It's really, really important. So I hope that was helpful for you today. And again, my invite to you is to join our Retailers Inner Circle. The waitlist is open right now. We have big things happening in July and August, and we are getting geared up for our holiday boot camp. And in August, lots of things, lots of great community members inside there sharing their wins every Friday. So, and if that's a good fit for you, and if you're ready, and if you like the type of things that I teach and I coach here on the podcast, you'll love our community. We have a great community. So you can find out more about that in the show notes or at wendybatten.com. And you can look for where it says Learn for Me, and you can join our Retailers Inner Circle. We only open the wait list. We open for new members a few times a year, but we do send out invites to those that are on the wait list. So we encourage you to jump on the wait list. And if you jump on the wait list, we will send you a little something too, little something, little surprise if you jump on the wait list. So that's just for you. So thank you, my friends. I hope you're having a great day, but I hope you had a great first half of your year. Again, encouraging you to go and do a mid-year review, episode number 59. We had our mid-year review podcast. I shared lots of tips on how to do a mid-year review. And it's really important, again, to check in with ourselves so that we can keep these needle moving, so we can be encouraging, we can get the success moving our business forward. So I hope that encourages you today. Starting next week, we are going to be introducing you to 4 amazing retailers in our Retail Success series, all members of my Retailers Inner Circle. I hope you'll use these tips that we shared today to help motivate you and fuel you by looking at the success that they're seeing and some of the golden nuggets that they're going to be sharing with you. So thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to seeing you over the next few weeks as I introduce some amazing retailers and some cool things that they're doing. So thanks for joining me, my friends. We'll see you next week. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so glad that you were here to join us this week, and I hope you found value in what we're sharing here. I want to remind you that our website has all of the show notes. You can find it at wendybatten.com/podcast. Everything that you need to hear about today's podcast is there. Also an opportunity if you need to reach out to me. If I can support you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. Make sure you join our Rockstar Creatives Facebook group. We will continue the conversation over there weekly. So thanks for joining us. Please leave a review, subscribe if you can, and never miss an episode. We hope to see you back here again next week. Thanks, my friend. Have a great week.